Hi, this is Donna. Welcome to DD Paper Crafts, and in today's video we're going to be making this house style gift box which has a lift up flap on the roof, a section here and then an additional drawer at the front. The overall sizes of the box are 6 inches by 4 inches. The drawer is 1.5 inches high, and then there's an additional section from the floor up to the highest point is 3 inches. As you can see, I've decorated mine in a haunted house style. You can obviously decorate this to suit your needs. Let me show you how I put the box together. The box is made up of quite a few elements. I'm going to give you all the sizes up front and then I'll repeat them as we work on each size. We have a base piece which is 6 by 4 inches, and depending on the weight of the cardstock you're using or the gifts you intend putting inside, you might want to cut 2 of these and adhere them together. You'll need a piece for the back which is 6 by 6, 2 pieces for the sides which are 4.5 by 5, a piece for the front and the inner floor which is 7 by 6 inches, and a roof flap which is 3.5 inches by 6 inches. You'll also need an additional piece for the drawer, but I'm going to measure that and cut that once the box is made up. So we have our base piece, 6 by 4. We don't need to do anything with that. We can just set that aside or glue 2 pieces together and let that dry whilst you carry on. So I'm going to work through the pieces in the easiest order I found for construction. You'll have 2 pieces for the side which are 4.5 by 5 inches, and if you're using double-sided cardstock as this is, you can score the same way on both pieces. If not, you'll need to score one and then on the second piece flip it over so the design is face down and score again, and that will make sure you end up with a left and a right hand side. Along the 5-inch side, score at 1/2 inch, and along the 4.5-inch side, score at 1/2 inch. Take your pencil and make a pencil mark at 2.5 inches. Fold under the 1/2 inch glue tab on the long side. Place the piece in the scoreboard so the base glue tab is on the left hand side, and make a pencil mark at 3.5 inches. Rotate the piece 180 degrees and make a pencil mark at 1.5 inches. So we've ended up with a glue tab on the left, a glue tab on the base, and 3 pencil marks, the left, the top and the right hand side. We now want to score between the left hand pencil mark and the top and the right hand pencil mark and the top to create the roof shape on the side panels. Use your ruler and stylus, or if you have a track marked on your scoreboard as I do, you can use your track. I'm going to place the top pencil mark in line with the mark track, rotate to line up the right hand side pencil mark and then score between the two. I'm going to fold under the side glue tab, rotate the piece and repeat between the left hand and the top pencil marks. So our piece looks like this. I'm going to create a glue tab by lining the score line that we've just made on the 1/2 inch mark of my guillotine and cutting away. So that's just going to create me a support for the roof flap. I'm going to rotate and repeat for the other diagonal that we've just made, and that's going to create a glue tab for the roof. So repeat that on your second piece. Fold and burnish along all of the score lines. Remove any pencil marks. Cut away the bottom square. I apologise for the flashing in the video. Cut a wedge from the end of the left and the right hand base glue tabs. Rotate the piece, cut a wedge from the end of the glue tab nearest the base, and remove that diamond shape between the left hand glue tab and the roof glue tab. So we have a glue tab for a roof, glue tab for the side, glue tab for the base, and then a roof support. So do that on both pieces. I'm going to now adhere the side panels to the base piece. Decide whether you want the glue tabs to be on the bottom or the top of the base. I'm going to stick mine on the bottom because I may then add an additional piece of cardstock to the base. Add glue to the base glue tab and line the side panel up with the base. Make sure the front and the back is nice and flush, and repeat for the remaining side panel. Whilst that's drying, we'll prepare the back panel. So this piece was 6 inches by 6 inches. Along one 6-inch side, score at 1/2 inch and 3.5 inches. Fold and burnish along the score lines. Let's take a wedge from the end of the 1/2 inch glue tab. I'm going to add glue to the glue tab and slot that onto the base like so. So it will be stuck to the same side of the base where the 1/2 inch glue tabs are, but at the moment we're not worrying about those glue tabs on the side panel, we're just going to stick this back panel into place. Make sure that sits in nicely, is lined up. And for the front and base piece, this is 6 inches by 7 inches. Along the 6-inch side, score at 1.5 and 5.5. And along the 7-inch side, score at 1/2 and 6.5. Fold and burnish along the score lines. With the 1/2 inch tab in front of you, remove the bottom left and right hand squares and cut a wedge from the end of this glue tab. Rotate, cut a wedge from the end of this glue tab, cut up the vertical score line within the 1/2 inch glue tab and cut a wedge from the ends from each of these glue tabs. Rotate and repeat on the other side. So we're splitting this side into 2 glue tabs. We're now going to add the floor and front panel into place. And this edge here is going to line up with the top of the front like so. Before I do any gluing, I'm going to take my ruler and from this point here towards the bottom of the side panel, I'm going to measure along 1.5 inches and make a pencil mark. And I'm going to use that to help me make sure that I get the floor piece level. Repeat on the other side panel. I'm going to work on one end at a time. Add glue to the small glue tab and to the larger glue tab. I'm going to start with the smallest side. So I'm lining the top edge of the small front panel up with the top of the box. Make sure the piece is at a right angle, and then I'm going to move the floor until it's lined up with the pencil mark. So you want to make sure the small front panel is lined up at the front like so. And now I can add glue to the small glue tab and the larger glue tab facing me. I'm going to flip the box up. Make sure the top edge here is lined up with the top edge on the side panel. Make sure that's lined up and sitting flush with the front. And then I can flip that over and line up the floor piece with my pencil mark. So just take your time to make sure that this all lines up and stays glued as you flip it over. So I'm quite happy with that. Make sure the front section sits flush with the top where the roof slant starts and the front of the side panel. And there you can see our internal floor and the front of the box. I'm now going to add glue to the ends of the back glue tab. Add glue all the way along. Add glue to these tabs at the sides and then flip up the back panel and get the back lined up with the sides. Repeat at the other end. I'm going to flip the piece over and just go in and burnish down the tabs So I'm going to burnish along this long glue tab and then go into the bottom section and burnish the tabs down. You could, if you wanted, you don't need to stick the roof down as I did with the first box. You can have the roof lid so that it opens all the way back. So you do have some options here. You can see on the haunted house box, I actually stuck down the back panel of the roof and it's merely the roof flap that opens. So decide what look you want for your box. I think I'm actually going to have the roof on this box so that it opens all the way. So the roof flap was 3.5 by 6 inches, and along the 3.5 inch side, score at half and 3 inches. Fold and burnish along the score lines. I'm going to cut a wedge from the end of one of the 1/2 inch glue tabs and I'm going to adhere that into place like so to create the remainder of the lid. So in the first box I added glue to these tabs, stuck the roof back panel down and then adhered this flap into place. So I am going to do this one slightly differently. So I'm adding glue to the back glue tab and I'm going to adhere that to the roof, and that's the profile of the roof from the side. The 1/2 inch flap at the front, decide whether you want that to be sitting on the outside and you have some method to secure that in place. Alternatively, you might want to have that so it sits inside the front of the box. So that is entirely up to you. If you're going to have it as a tuck-in, just check it and see whether you need to cut a slight wedge from the ends of the 1/2 inch flap. But mine, as you can see, does fit in there quite nicely and neatly. So that's the house element made. And I'm now going to make the drawer element. And I am going to take my time to make sure that I cut the drawer to a size so that it fits in the box. For the drawer, I have a piece which is 9 inches by 1/16 of an inch under 7 inches. And I'm going to score on all 4 sides at 1.5 inches. Fold and burnish. And I'm now going to take my drawer piece, take the house, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fold in these short side panels. And I'm just going to slot that in and make sure that that is going to fit inside the house like so. And I can see that fits in nicely. I'm going to fold up the sides and I can see that the sides of the box are actually slightly longer than they need to be. With the sides that size, I'm going to struggle to get the box in. So I can see those sides are slightly tight, so I'm just going to mark those with a cross. I'm going to rotate the piece, fold in the 2 sides, fold up the 2 shorter sides like so. I'm going to fold those in and again I'm going to push that in place, and I want to make sure that the drawer is going to sit inside, which it does. You can see there's a gap at the front, so I'm happy with that. And I can see that again the sides are slightly too long. So I know the base element is the right size, and what I'm now going to do is take a 1/16 of an inch off of each of the 4 sides. That's going to reduce the height of the drawer, as it were, and then that will fit in the slot. So now if I repeat the process, you can see that the sides of the tray are going to fit in nice and neatly inside. I can now construct the tray. I'm going to create a simple tray and cut up this corner vertical score line to the horizontal. Take a wedge from the sides of that square to create our glue tab, and I'm going to do that on all 4 corners. I'm going to add my glue to the corner glue tabs, pull up the sides and create my tray. Make sure you get nice right angles as you create the sides of the box. Burnish down the tabs and that's our tray. And you can see that that fits nicely inside the house, and I'm going to add another base piece just to strengthen that up. So now this is ready for decoration. Here's my decorated box. I've used some gingerbread people and some window frames from an old Papercraft Society kit. All of the papers are from this Make and Create design pad, which is from the works, and this is a Christmas 2024 paper pad. The drawer opens like so, and the lid opens like so. I'm really happy with how this box has come out. It's a nice size and suitable for lots of occasions. So I'll just bring in the haunted house version. I hope you've enjoyed today's project. If you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing to the channel. And until next time, thanks for watching.